So for this week at Bungie, they're going to be going over Guardian Games and Guardian Games Cup are live. Those are live right now. If you're doing that, there's different events to do. Season into the Deep, first look, key art and launch date time reveal. Details on 3 new Strand Aspects, recapping big changes coming with abilities, new exotic armor focusing and stat roll details. I've been really curious about that. Upcoming economy and crafting updates. A note on upcoming season passes. I wonder if they're going to make some changes there. Trial of Osiris, various updates through that. I'm not super concerned about that. Like, we'll just probably skip over that, to be honest. New priming gear, gaming gear, and then get our Oprah on again with more wallpaper. Ooh, some wallpapers, yeah. This YouTube is going to be mainly talking about Season 21, Season of the Deep, Destiny 2. All right, it says rolling in deep with a Season 21 first look. Who doesn't love a good teaser, am I right? Here's our first look at what Season of the Deep will have offers starting May 23rd. Oh my gosh, that's going to be right in the middle of Tears of the Kingdom. Oh, that's all right. I'll probably still check out the new season because that armor looks kind of crazy. I think they're really kind of leaning into how the new Root of Nightmares armor looked kind of buggy. This looks more aquatic, I guess is the best way to put that, because it kind of has like fins. That looks pretty neat. So it's going to kick off May 23rd at 10 a.m. So normal, reset time, May 23rd. What day is that? That's going to be 1, 2, 3, less than 3 weeks away for that. Holy crap. So that's all right. That'll be about almost 2 weeks after Tears of the Kingdom. I think I'm actually going to take my time, but I digress. All right. So the key art here for Season 21, Season of the Deep. And then this is a version without the text. I might make that my new poster. That looks like there was a rumor of the leak of there's going to be fallen armor. The person actually in the very front of this looks like, if you kind of look the little the effect right here, that looks like not fallen, but taken armor. That definitely looks like taken armor. So maybe the leak was true. I mean, it was a leak for a reason, and Bungie had actually said something about it, so it had some validity, but that looks like the taken armor, y'all. It's our first look at it right here. Let's zoom in. Ooh, that is definitely taken armor. That is definitely taken armor. Look at that. That has taken written all over it. That almost looks like is that Anna Bray in the taken armor? It kind of looks like it from the hair from the back, but it could be somebody else. I don't know. Maybe it's a new character. Who knows? But this is, I'm assuming, is going to be the seasonal armor, and then maybe, this is going to be the battle pass armor right here, right? The one that we see in the background, and I bet you the taken armor is more like the seasonal stuff. Yeah, that looks awesome. All right, let's close that. That looks awesome. We've got plenty to share over the coming weeks and a lot to dive into today, including we couldn't strand instead of stand, waiting any longer to talk about 3 new aspects. Hey Guardians, Combat Play Team here to spill the tea on 3 new Strand Aspects that will become available when Season 21 launches. Our goal with these aspects is to strengthen the existing Strand kits and expand the gameplay options of each class. You'll be able to acquire these aspects as part of a new pursuit after visiting the Pukapan in Neomuna's Hall of Heroes. Let's get into it. For our first aspect, it's for Hunters, Threaded Spectre. Activate your class ability to leave behind a decoy woven from strand matter that draws the attention of nearby combatants. Oh, we're making clones. Hunters making clones. Oh, we got some like clone jutsu stuff going on. I hope they do some kind of cool animation for it. After taking significant damage or when combatants approach, the decoy detonates, dealing damage and releasing threadlings. What? That seek out and attack nearby foes. Uh-oh. It's threadling time for the Hunters. I might actually get into that. Sounds really cool. Is this the first decoy type of ability that we've ever had in Destiny? I think it is. Oh man. And I was just starting to get tired of Destiny, and then they come back and pull me back in with something like this. I love it. Pesky Cabal Gunfire, have you pinned down? Need a quick distraction so you can revive a teammate? Have you ever thought about what a bunch of threadlings in a trench coat looks like? The new Threaded Spectre aspect for the Hunter Thread Runner might just be what you're looking for. When players activate their dodge, they leave behind a decoy woven from strand matter that draws the attention of enemies on the battlefield. Enemies will shoot at the threaded specter until it's destroyed or expires, giving the hunter and their fire team enough time to get to safety. When destroyed, a threaded specter explodes into 2 threadlings. Threaded specter gives hunter players access to threadling generation and a new way to control the battlefield. Woo! You know, I did really say, I got to say that I did really enjoy making threadlings on my warlock. So this is just another way to do that with another class, which is hunters. That sounds so much fun. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm actually really looking forward to that now. I'm definitely going to have to play the new season. That's awesome. All right, on to the next one. So Titan aspect, Fletchet or Flechet Storm. Fletchet, I'm going to say Fletchet Storm. While sliding, activate your charged melee ability to leap into the air, knocking nearby targets away and dealing damage. While airborne, activate your charged melee again to launch a cluster of damaging, unraveling projectiles. Repeatedly activating melee will chain additional throws. I'm thinking it's kind of like the solar uppercut that you can do. It's kind of like that, but you're also going to be being able to do a follow-up in the air to do these unraveling projectile cluster bombs, essentially, or melee hits. Let's see what it says afterwards. Berserker Titans are known for their unbridled aggression. While sprinting headfirst into battle is often the best way to deploy Berserker abilities, we want to provide players with a tool that allows for more potency at range and gives Titan easier ways to unravel enemies. This is where Flechet Storm comes into play. So it's, I guess, a better way to give range. So you're going to be able to, if there's some mobs that are around you, you're going to be able to uppercut and kind of like melee away, I guess, at the same time. It says, while Flechet Storm's Berserkers have access to a powerful new slide melee attack that quickly launches them up into the air and blasts away any nearby enemies, while still airborne, press the melee button again to fire a cluster of tracking projectiles that deal heavy damage and unravel enemies. Oh, so it's like a double debuff. So you're going to be able to just uppercut, do some unraveling rounds on yourself, or to get unraveling rounds starting to float around. And then if you do another attack, you're going to unravel, which unravel basically lowers the damage output of an affected enemy. So it says Flechet Storm provides the Berserker with a ranged melee option while keeping with the spirit of their fast-paced gameplay. Ooh, you know what? I still think with this, Heart of the Innermost Light is going to have still a really good play with this. It's just, I think, another melee ability. It's another melee uppercut, but like it says, it provides range. So it's going to be a ranged option, I guess, for Titan. So instead of having to use the melee, they actually have to be up really close. I like that. I tend to play more range, and I think that's why I like Warlock so much. Titans are very just kind of up close and personal, but this is nice to kind of give them the ability to make some range options there for them in this new aspect. Flechet Storm or Fletchet Storm? I'm not 100%. All right, then we finally move on to last but my favorite and my main Warlock aspect, the Wanderer. Tangles you throw attach to enemies and detonate with suspending bursts into a suspending burst. So tangles you throw attach to enemies and detonate into a suspending burst. Threadling final blows create a tangle. So, I bet you that's going to work even better with those boots because you're creating tangles and more threadlings. You can like infinitely do that. Interesting. Okay, let's read the rest of this. Since the Warlock Broodweaver is a Strand minion master, I love it, it felt natural to explore additional ways the Broodweaver might weave life into the world around them. Enter the Wanderer, a sentient tangle woven from Broodweaver brilliance. When Warlocks equipped with the aspect pick up a tangle, they weave the tangle into the Wanderer. When thrown, the Wanderer travels through the air seeking targets. Once it finds a target, it soars towards them, latches on, and explodes into a suspending detonation that deals damage and suspends any nearby enemies. To round out the gameplay loop, the Wanderer also enables threadling final blows from any source to generate a tangle. Oh, so all our threadling weapons that we're creating threadlings, and then we're going to be exploding, suspending, unraveling. It's going to be just this concept, almost like the build with kind of like the build with necrotic grips and suspending, but it's actually just built into the tangles. And even they're really committing to the whole threadling generation with warlocks. I love this. I love how they did that with hunters, but I think it's still going to be really just OP with warlocks. It says the Wanderer gives Broodweavers another way to upgrade their tangles and grant access to the suspend effect without needing a shackle grenade. I will say that's one thing that I thought was missing, is that you had to basically use necrotic grips. You had to like sack your grapple grenade and then shoot in order to do that. But this is going to be a way to be able to just generate threadling, still use your threadling grenade, because that's still going to have value in this build. And so you're still going to be able to use your threadling grenade on top of your threadling generation with your rift. On top of that, you're going to use those boots that can create tangles. I mean, this is just really like committing to that threadling build with the exotic, what boots are those? The Swarmers. The Swarmers say destroying a tangle spawns a threadling. Your threadlings unravel targets that they damage. Yeah, this is going to be, I feel, really potent in Season of the Deep. This is going to be, this is pretty much what I'm going to run. I'm going to run Swarmers with pretty much the same exact build I have now, but I'm going to change out one of the aspects. I'll have to check which one that will be good to change out to that. It says, we're pretty excited to see these new Strand Aspects in the game, and we hope you enjoy them when Season 21 launches. We'll be monitoring their performance across the game, and we'll continue to balance them over time. That's going to be nice to have these new Strand Aspects. Definitely, obviously, I'm the most excited for the Warlock one, just because that's way more threadling generation and more like utility built into the threadling build. So I feel like it's just going to provide even more value. The suspend thing is just what's really this is going to be a top tier build for next season. And I'll put a video together about what that's going to look like in another video. All right, next it says Stasis, Strand, and Light subclasses get their glow ups for Season 21. Oh, since earlier this week, you may have seen a new blog post from our friendly combat gameplay team. The team dove into the ability tuning changes that Guardians can look forward to within Season 21, including changes to roaming supers that we think are pretty spiffy. From fragment budget to a breakdown of both Stasis and Strand changes on the horizon. Here's a handy TLDR from your viewing pleasure. It says tuning changes to supers include a nice buff to damage resistance and damage dealt in PvE. There's a lot of roaming supers that got buffs ranging anywhere from 10% all the way up to 35%. Void Hunters, you know what I'm talking about. That melee super is going to be really, really strong. Is it going to be meta? Probably not. We'll see. The weaken on heavy attack is supposed to be really nice. But yeah, a lot of roaming supers got buffs coming up. A class-by-class breakdown in Season 21 changes. What we're doing to beef up Stasis. Yeah, Stasis is a little underwhelming. Obviously, it was really overpowered, especially in PvP when that expansion Beyond Light came out. It was very, very strong, and then they started to nerf it into the ground slowly but surely. Still really good for crowd control, but, you know. And then how subclass keywords are evolving for Arc and Solar players. And then if you want to read the full blog post, economy changes. This is another interesting thing I wanted to read about. Let's talk about the in-game economy, shall we? We've got a few things to go over, including changes to our power band, crafting economy, changes, exotic armor focusing, and even more. For the first time, we will not be increasing the power bands in Destiny 2 in Season 21. Woo! No power grind. We're just going to be able to do content. We're already at the high level stuff, so I'm super stoked. I hope they keep this. I hope they keep it where you don't have to do a power grind. I'd be fine with every DLC, like the final shape that has a power grind, right? Like if they would have done one with Beyond Light and then the seasons in between nothing, I would have been fine with that. One power grind per DLC, I'm okay with. If they did it forever, even better. But even the fact that they're trying this out, I'm sure they're going to get a lot of data from this. I hope that what that does is that increases the amount of players that start in the new season. Because what I think is they're testing it out. I think they're testing if we keep the power band the same and we don't make another power grind, are we going to have more players that play in that season? I think Season of the Deep is going to be a test for Bungie in a lot of ways. I hope they keep this. I hope they keep doing this more. Again, if they do it every once in a while, every DLC, that's cool. If there's a way they could do it where you never have a power grind, or maybe you just have one per account per character power grind, and then you just kind of get other stuff, that sounds awesome too. It would be a lot more useful and better for people who don't have a lot of time. I never really had that issue, but I know there are some people who would love to play the game more, who don't have a lot of time to play the game, and that they have to power grind every single season, every single DLC, but maybe they just barely do it towards the end of the season. This will be a good way also for those players who don't have a lot of time to be able to just enjoy the content right off the bat. I think it's a really good change. Again, I hope they keep that. Exotic armor focusing and decryption. We touched on this in the past, but it's worth repeating regarding exotic armor focusing and decryption coming to Rahul at the start of Season 21. So it's going to go over, looks like, all the focusing options. I think it's actually just like spelling it out in text. Do I want to go through this? Standard decryption. I mean, I already got most exotic, so I'm not like super concerned about this. I would say just like pause it here. Let's just go through it. All right. So start of the Season 21. So focusing options. Standard decryption allows players to decrypt engrams for free. Players receive random dots from standard exotic engram loot pools. No additional cost. Okay. From standard exotic engram loot pools. Oh, so if you just get a random drop exotic, it doesn't cost anything. I mean, that would make sense they kept that. All right. Exotic focusing tier 1. Focus an engram to receive a random roll of an exotic from the associated expansion. So they got Red War, Forsaken, Shadowkeep, Beyond Light, Witch Queen, and Lightfall. They do have specifics on Red War. You can specify helms, arms, chests, legs, but they don't do it for any of the other ones, which is interesting. I wonder if they're just going to do that as time progresses, maybe? That is interesting they only did it on Red War. Maybe it's because it's the oldest content. That is interesting. And then Lightfall, it says, will become available in a future season. Requires ownership of the associated expansion, as well as having previously acquired all armor pieces within the engram for your class. So they want to make sure you own the content for that DLC or whatever before you can get it. It's going to cost 1 exotic engram, so you have to have one. 30,000 glimmer and 1 ascendant shard. That's really not that bad, honestly. That's really not that bad. Exotic focusing tier 2. Focus specific exotic armor for high cost. Oh, okay. So this is if you really want to focus it. The first one is just like random. Okay. I mean, it even said that in there. Duh. All right. Exotic focusing tier 2. Focus specific exotic armor for high cost. Requires ownership of the associated expansion, as well as having previously acquired the piece of armor. So you have to own the armor in order to get it. Oh, so it's not like something you can just say, oh, I don't have these legs. I want to try to get them. You'd have to first try to get a random, and at least to try to get them. Oh, I mean, it's still a little bit focusing, but not all the way. I guess they don't want to, do everything all at once, which makes sense. I guess they're kind of testing this out. The cost, it has a higher cost. 1 exotic engram, so that's the same. 60,000 glimmer, twice the cost there. Triple the cost for the shards. It's 3 ascendant shards and 1 exotic cipher. So that means the ciphers you get from Xur, you're going to have to use those. It says, we've also taken a pass at the exotic armor stat packages, so your exotic should roll consistently higher stats and with more frequent individual stat spikes starting in Season 21. Let's go. So hopefully no less than 60 stat rolls on armor, but, Bungie is known for having bugs with armor and things of that. I mean, Xur was bugged for the longest time. Hopefully this is good at launch when they launch this, and it's just there's no problems, but we'll see. You can expect the average stats to be in the mid 60s. Hey, I'm okay with that. Just nothing below 60. Nothing below 60, I'm happy with that. Mid 60s is awesome. If that's the average, I'm cool with that. Lastly, since we are not raising the pinnacle cap in Season 21, the need for mini pinnacle legendary rewards has dropped significantly to help making playing in our evergreen ritual playlist more worthwhile. We are changing the rewards for the basic complete activities challenges to focusable, powerful exotic engrams. This gives most players 3 to 9 free, achievable, and deterministic weekly exotic Ingrams ready for focusing. Oh, so I guess they're encouraging us to do the exotic farming. Maybe they want to gather more data to see if they provide a way that's easy to farm exotics, will people use it? So they're encouraging that on top of not raising the power cap. So that's like a double win for them, and it allows them to try that out. They're saying, okay, there's no power grind, but we can change out these ritual playlists and put just exotic Ingrams you get, since you're not going to be power grinding, and then you can try out this whole exotic focusing better and more often, because you're getting the exotic Ingrams pretty often. That's a nice way to encourage that. It says, but yes, you'll be losing some pinnacle drops, so reaching the pinnacle cap will be a bit slower for everyone. We are hoping the need for less pinnacle drops continues in future seasons. Let's go! But we'll be looking at feedback and analytics and are ready to adjust as necessary. Exactly what I said. They're doing this to kind of try it out. Bungie is very, they get a bunch of data, they analyze the data and say, okay, here's where we can adjust it. And they're always, I want to say, that's that's being generous to Bungie. Let me back up. It's not always the best thing, because they don't always make the best choices, but at least they're trying something, right? Bungie's always very good about telegraphing to their player base of this is what's coming up. This is what you can expect. Help us try this out. Help us get data, right? Like, keep playing the game. Like, it's a really good way to keep people playing the game. There's no game like Destiny 2. There really isn't. It says other sources of focusable exotic Ingrams, random world drops, season pass, paid and free tracks, 6 paid, 2 free per season, vendor reputation tracks, 1 each reset after the first. You can expect additional focusable exotic Ingram sources in future seasons. Now let's set our sights on deep sight activation and other crafting changes on the way. All right, next we have deep sight activation and crafting economy changes. In Season 21, we'll be adding the ability to electively activate deep sight on weapon instances to obtain pattern progress. This capability will be accessible through a new mod slot in the weapon details screen for eligible weapons. So we're getting the ability to activate deep sight on any weapon on the new seasons? I guess we're going to find out. Let's go through this and we'll see. First, to perform a deep sight activation on a weapon, you will need a new deep sight harmonizer currency. Non-raid weapons will cost 1 harmonizer, while raid weapons will require 15 spoils of conquest in addition to 1 harmonizer cost. Okay, so we have a new currency, deep sight harmonizer currency. Is it just called harmonizer? Yeah. So we got a new currency called harmonizer. I don't know what that's going to look like, how we're going to earn it. I'm sure it's going to talk about it here. This deep sight harmonizer currency can be obtained from season pass rank rewards, 3 in free ranks and 3 in the paid. This will be the sole source of this currency for the initial rollout of this feature. Additionally, only 1 harmonizer can be stored in the inventory at a time. This currency does not stack. Oh, so they're only going to give us the ability to do this 6 times? So we're going to have to pick the weapons you want and just do it 6 times. I guess my question becomes is, if you activate deep sight onto a weapon, is it only good for that one time? So you only get 1 pattern recipe? I mean, I guess that would make sense. It would be really cool if you could just, I don't know, maybe there's more. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see how that pans out. Not all weapon instances will be compatible with deep sight activation. Oh, so not all the weapons instances will be compatible with deep sight activation. So it's only going to be certain items. Let's see what it says for which ones. You will be prevented from activating deep sight for a weapon that has already had its pattern unlocked. Oh, yes. So it's basically going to take that out of the pool of your items that you can do that on with only weapons that you have not unlocked. Yes. There's a few outliers that I don't have. I'm actually really stoked about this. Weapons that previously had deep sight will be ineligible. So if you already had an item that had deep sight, you can't do it again. So it is 1 per weapon. Okay. You cannot activate deep sight on a weapon instance which had originally been acquired with deep sight, nor can you activate deep sight multiple times on a single weapon instance. Exactly what my question was before. They just answered that. Weapon instances purchased for raid vendors will be ineligible. However, weapons purchased from Xur and the gunsmith will support deep sight activation. Oh, so we can get Xur recipes and gunsmith recipes. Interesting. I wonder how they're going to do rotations for that, or if everything's going to be available. I'm sure they'll pan that out as the season. I mean, it's only a few weeks away for the season. Crafting costs will also see a change in Season 21. Yes, hopefully cheaper, because that shit ain't cheap. Legendary shard costs will be removed from all crafting components. Yes. Glimmer and enhancement course costs will remain untouched. I guess that's all right. Enhanced weapon costs are based on weapon masterwork costs, and thus will still require legendary shards, as we are not yet modifying the weapon masterwork economy in Season 21. I guess they're just leaving the enhanced weapon costs under based on masterwork. So basically all the adept weapons are still going to have the same exact cost, because it sounds like they're not yet. It says not yet modifying. So maybe they have plans for that in the future. All right, quality of life updates that we think you'll enjoy. All right, quality of life updates that we think you'll enjoy. Coming in Season 21, we have a number of quality of life updates we are excited to share with you. First up, let's take a look at Raid Triumphs 07 and then it shows the Touch of Malice. Over the last year, the Raid and Dungeon team had added triumphs to new raids and dungeons, Duality, Spire of the Watcher, and Root of Nightmares, which give a boosted chance to receive the exotic weapon drop for that raid or dungeon once completed. In Season 21, we're adding boosted triumphs to legacy content with randomly dropped exotic weapons to bring them up to our standard for raids and dungeons. So that means any raid that you haven't got the exotic, you're going to be able to do triumphs in order to increase the probability that you're going to get it. Really, really nice. I don't really think there's anything I don't have from any of the raids. Maybe Teraba. Teraba might be the only one that I don't have. We added them into existing triumphs and are retroactive. Oh, so if they're just going to add into the triumphs you've already done for the raid. That's awesome. So if you've already done the requisite triumphs, you immediately start getting a boost. That's nice. So Last Wish, and then it breaks down all of the rate boost and how much you get. Challenges, so 5. That's cool. Deepstone Crypt, I mean, I already have that. What is this? 1,000 Voices, I already have. Collective Obligation, I already have. Vex, I have. Touch of Malice, I have. So I literally have all of these, so it's really not going to be any benefit to me. But yeah, definitely to those people who don't have the raid weapons for any of these. Man, I have all of these. I do have all of these. Yeah, well, that's going to be nice for all those raid weapon chasers who have been really unlucky. I mean, my Vex Mythoclast took, 47 runs in order to get my Vex Mythoclast. I got my Touch of Malice. When did I get that? I don't know, maybe like 12 runs, maybe 20 runs. Eyes of Tomorrow, I got really lucky on that, maybe in like my 9th run. 1,000 Voices, my first run, like literally my first run. It was really stupid. Finest Matterweave and Rainmaker deprecation. As part of our ongoing efforts to simplify the economy on Destiny 2, it's time to say goodbye to the Finest Matterweave and Rainmaker consumable items. No! How else am I going to make Glimmer? Starting in Season 21, these items will no longer drop from any source in the game. In any instance where players would have received a Finest Matterweave, they will receive one enhancement core instead. I guess that's a nice trade-off. And whenever players would have gotten a drop of a Rainmaker, they will instead earn 3,000 Glimmer. Okay. Furthermore, all existing instances of these items in players' inventories can be consumed directly to grant their associated materials. All existing instances of Finer Matterweave can be dismantled for 1 enhancement core. All existing instances of Rainmaker can be dismantled for 3,000 Glimmer. I don't know if that's a trade-off there, because Rainmaker right now lasts like 4 hours, and you get 4 hours of Glimmer making. I would just say use your Rainmakers, y'all. That's going to be, actually, I feel like a loss if you don't. Mind you, that's a lot to use in between here in the next 17 days, but if not, if anything, at least you'll get 3,000 Glimmer. Vanguard Bounty updates. We haven't made wide-ranging updates to Vanguard Bounties in a while, so we took a pass to make them friendlier. Daily bounties. Existing daily bounties requiring you to get a specific type of kill, grenade, headshot, or any special or heavy weapons now require twice as many kills to complete, but can be done anywhere in the game, with increased progress in Vanguard Ops or Nightfalls. If you only plan on doing these in Vanguard activities, you should see no change in behavior. We also added a number of new bounties, killing elites, mini-bosses, and champions, kills with elemental abilities with bonuses for killing with a subclass verb, complete 2 Vanguard activities. Regarding repeatable bounties, all enemy type kill bounties, Hive, Vex, Taken, Cabal, Fallen, and Scorn have significantly increased requirements, but can be advanced by killing any combatant in a Vanguard activity with significantly increased progress for killing the correct type of combatant. We also added one new repeatable bounty, one for getting fire team kills in a Vanguard activity. So basically, if you're still doing all the Vanguard stuff in Vanguard activities, it shouldn't be a change at all. But it's giving you the ability to do these bounties while doing other things like PvP, exploring the world, or raid even. Yeah, so it's just another way to kind of finish and do the Vanguard bounties, which is nice. I think that'll be a nice change. I don't know if that's going to be a twice as long type thing, but I guess it would be easier if you're just kind of doing them as you're normally doing other stuff instead of being forced into doing Vanguard activities. All right, Good Boy Protocol. Archie is returning in Season 21. Now that we found him in a permanent home in the tower, we are introducing the Good Boy Protocol stat tracker and moving it to the account career category. Your previous progress from Season 19 will carry over. Important Season Pass info starting with Season 21. As our teams continue to invest in crafting compelling seasonal experiences for the year of Lightfall, there's a heads up we wanted to give regarding a small increase in the standalone Season Pass price. Beginning in the Season of the Deep, here's what you can expect. Season Pass is going to go from 1,000 silver to 1,200 silver. Season Pass plus 10 ranks bundle goes from 2,000 silver to 2,200 silver. This will be the new pricing for Season Passes in Lightfall's years for those looking to maximize their rewards with each new season, and we'll be evaluating new approaches to post-launch content in the year of the final shape. I guess they need a little bit more money, which is weird because they got bought out by Sony and they've got bought out for like $1 billion. And so I'm not really sure why they need the money in order to work on this, unless Bungie's still just kind of doing everything on their own and they haven't really gotten that Sony money yet, but we'll see. Pricing will remain unchanged for the Lightfall Standard Edition, which includes access to the current live season at the time of purchase, and Lightfall Plus Annual Bonus Edition, which includes access to seasons 20 to 23. And that's going to do it for, I guess, this TWAB. There is some information about Trials of Osiris. Looks like there's a new ghost, a new ship that's going to be coming out, and a new sparrow, and then a new shader, it looks like. And then it looks like this is going to be the loot pool, I guess. Let's see. So, yeah. All right. I'm not a huge Trials. I mean, I went to the tower, or I went to the lighthouse for that first time ever, solo back when the beginning of the season started, or beginning of the expansion started, and got my immortal. So I'm happy. I don't ever feel like I need to go to the lighthouse. It is extremely hard solo. I don't really recommend it. You can do it. It's just tough. Be prepared to just start over your tickets a lot. Either way. All right, everybody. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Stay spicy out there, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Later.